The great hall on Elysium was full of noise and worry. Tall windows let in soft blue light from the twin moons outside. Inside, hundreds of alien delegates sat in rows of seats that floated a little above the smooth stone floor. They came from every corner of the known galaxy. There were the tall, thin Vexari with their glowing skin and sharp eyes. There were the heavy Krell with thick armor plates on their shoulders. There were the small, fast-moving Lyrans who spoke in quick bursts. And many more species filled the room. For 3 long years, the Galactic Council had fought a hard war against the Zorathian Dominion. The Zorathians were strong and cruel. Their ships were huge and black, like shadows that swallowed stars. Their soldiers did not stop. They took planets one by one. They burned cities. They broke fleets. Now the Council was losing. Important trade routes were cut. Whole sectors had no food or fuel left. Some delegates looked tired. Others looked scared. And in the center of the hall stood a raised platform. A hologram showed the current war map. Red dots marked Zorathian ships. Blue dots showed Council forces. There were far more red dots than blue. Every few minutes, a blue dot blinked out. That meant another ship or station was lost. A deep voice called for silence. It was High Delegate Korvath, an old Krell with gray plates and slow movements. He raised one heavy hand. The room became quiet. "We face our darkest hour," Korvath said. "The Zorathians push toward the core worlds. If we lose the Orion sector, half our supply lines die. We need new strength. We need hope." Murmurs rose again. Everyone knew what he meant. They had asked every species for help. Most said no. Some sent small ships that did little. Others promised aid but never came. Then the doors at the far end opened with a soft hiss. A group of 5 humans walked in, and they wore simple gray uniforms with the Earth emblem on the chest. A blue planet with white clouds. At the front walked Admiral Paul Edwards. He was tall, with short gray hair and calm green eyes. Behind him came Captain Henry Clark, a strong man with a short black beard. Next was Commander Lisa Morgan, her red hair tied back tight. Lieutenant Ryan Brooks followed, young and quick, always watching everything. Last came Ensign Jacob Taylor, carrying a small data pad. When the hall went quiet for a moment. Then laughter broke out. Some Vexari elders covered their mouths with long fingers. A few Krell made deep rumbling sounds that meant amusement. "Humans?" one delegate called. "The same humans who only joined the Council 20 cycles ago?" Another voice added, "They have no real navy. Their ships are small toys." Paul Edwards did not smile. He stepped onto the platform. The hologram adjusted to show him larger. He looked straight at the crowd. I speak for Earth," he said in a clear, steady voice. "We have watched this war from the beginning. We have seen your losses. We have seen the Zorathians take more every day. Now we offer help." More laughter came. A Lyran delegate stood on his seat to be seen better. "Help? With what? A few scout ships? A transport full of food?" Paul Edwards waited until the noise died down. "1 fleet," he said. 50 ships, all armed, all ready. They wait at the edge of your space. If you allow it, they will fight beside you." The laughter stopped. Now the room filled with whispers. 50 ships sounded like nothing compared to the thousands in the Zorathian armada. But the humans had never lied before. Everyone knew that. High Delegate Korvath leaned forward. His heavy brow lowered. "Why now?" he asked. "You stayed neutral for so long. What changed?" Paul Edwards met his gaze. "We stayed out because we were not asked in the right way," he said. "And because we needed time. Time to build. Time to train. Time to understand our enemy. Now we are ready. 1 fleet. 1 chance to change the war." Commander Lisa Morgan stepped forward. She touched a control on her wrist. A new hologram appeared above the platform. It showed the human fleet. The ships looked different from Council designs. They were not giant blocks or long spears. They were sleek, with smooth curves and many small thrusters. Some had long railgun barrels that glowed faintly blue, and others carried wide launch bays for missiles. "These are not toys," Lisa said. "Each ship carries weapons tested in our own wars. Our crews know how to fight in close quarters. We move fast. We think fast. We do not wait for orders from far away." A Vexari elder stood. His voice was thin and sharp. "You speak boldly for newcomers," he said, "but words do not stop Zorathian plasma. Show us proof." Paul Edwards nodded to Ryan Brooks. The young lieutenant tapped his pad. The hologram changed again. It showed battle records, not from this war, but from old human conflicts. Fleets turning at the last second to strike weak points, small ships slipping past big guns to hit engines, pilots flying through storms of fire without fear. The delegates watched in silence. Some leaned closer, others frowned. Korvath spoke again. "And if your fleet fails, if your 50 ships burn in the first hour?" "Then we burn with them," Paul Edwards answered. "But we do not plan to fail. We plan to hit hard. We plan to break their line. We plan to give you time to regroup." He paused and looked around the hall. "We ask only one thing. Let our fleet join the defense at Orion. Give us a place in the battle. If we succeed, the war changes. If we fail, you lose nothing more than you already expect to lose." The room stayed quiet for a long time. Delegates looked at each other. Some nodded slowly. Others shook their heads. Finally, Korvath raised his hand once more. "We will vote," he said. "Oh, but know this. Many here still doubt you. Prove them wrong." Paul Edwards gave a small nod. "We will." As the humans left the hall, whispers followed them. Some delegates laughed again, but it was nervous laughter now. Others stared at the hologram of the human fleet still floating in the air. The sleek ships looked small next to the red dots of the enemy. Yet there was something in their design, something sharp and quick, that made a few delegates feel a tiny spark of hope. Outside the hall, at the stars. "They have no choice left, at the stars. They have no choice left," he said. "They will say yes, and then we fight." The 5 humans walked toward their shuttle. Behind them, the great doors closed. Inside the hall, the vote began. No one knew it yet, but the balance of the galaxy was about to tilt. And it would tilt because of one human fleet. The vote in the great hall ended just before dawn. Lights dimmed as the last delegates left their seats. High Delegate Korvath stood alone on the platform for a moment. He looked at the hologram one more time. The red dots still pressed forward like a slow storm. He gave a heavy sigh and pressed the final approval button. The human fleet was now part of the war. Word reached the Earth ships waiting at the border in less than an hour. Admiral Paul Edwards sat in the small briefing room of the lead transport. His officers gathered around a simple metal table. Captain Henry Clark leaned against the wall with arms crossed. Commander Lisa Morgan checked her data pad. Lieutenant Ryan Brooks tapped a screen to pull up maps. Ensign Jacob Taylor stood ready with fresh coffee for everyone. Paul Edwards looked at each of them. "They said yes," he told them. "One condition. We go straight to Orion. No delays, no extra talks. I clears the head." They moved fast after clears the head. They moved fast after that. Orders went out across the fleet. 50 ships turned their noses toward the jump points. Engines hummed louder. Crews ran final checks. In the engine rooms, technicians wiped hands on rags and closed panels. In the weapon bays, loaders pushed missiles into tubes with steady hands. On the bridges, pilots tested controls and whispered good luck to their ships. The flagship was called USS Liberty. She was not the biggest ship in the fleet, but she felt alive. Her hull was dark gray with thin blue lines that glowed when shields powered up. Inside, the corridors were narrow but clean. Lights were bright. Air smelled faintly of metal and coffee. The crew came from every part of Earth. There were people from cities, from farms, from mountains. Station. He asked simple questions. How station? He asked simple questions. How are the guns? Shields at full? Fuel good? Each answer came back quick and sure. No one complained. No one looked scared. They looked focused. In the mess hall, a group of young crew sat eating before the jump. One of them was Petty Officer Daniel Hayes. He came from a small town near the coast. And he held a spoon and talked to his friend. "Remember when we first signed up?" Daniel said. "Everyone said space was too big, too dangerous, that aliens would never take us seriously." His friend, Specialist Maria Lopez, laughed softly. "They still don't. Did you hear the laughter in the council hall? They think we're here to die fast." Daniel shrugged. "Let them laugh. We've fought bigger odds before. Remember the old stories? How humans kept going even when everything looked lost." Maria nodded. "Yeah, we don't quit easy." Across the table, another crew member joined in. It was Sergeant Kevin Patel. He had a quiet voice, but strong eyes. "My grandfather fought in the last big war on Earth," he said. "He told me once that the real fight starts when you stop being afraid of losing. That's when you start winning." The others listened. No one spoke for a moment. Then they raised their cups of water in a small toast. And not loud, just quiet. It was their way. Back on the bridge of USS Liberty, Henry Clark took his seat in the center chair. It was simple leather, worn from years of use. He looked at the main screen. Stars stretched out like endless lines. The jump point waited ahead, a faint swirl of light. "Status report," he said. Commander Lisa Morgan answered first. "All systems green. Weapons hot. Shields ready. Crew at battle stations." Lieutenant Ryan Brooks added, "Navigation locked. By hyperspace coordinates set. Fleet reports ready to follow." Ensign Jacob Taylor looked up from sensors. "No enemy contacts yet. Clear path to Orion." Henry Clark took a slow breath. "Then let's go save some stars," he gave the order. "Fleet, this is Liberty Actual. Jump in sequence. Stay tight. No stragglers." The ships moved one by one into the glowing rings. First the scouts, small and fast, then the cruisers with heavy guns, then the carriers that held fighters. Last came Liberty herself, and the bridge lights dimmed for a second. A soft hum filled the air. Everyone felt the gentle push as the ship slipped into hyperspace. Inside the tunnel of light, time felt strange. Stars blurred into streaks. The crew sat quiet. Some closed their eyes. Others stared at screens. No one talked much. They all knew what waited on the other side. Henry Clark thought about his family back on Earth. A wife and 2 kids. He had not seen them in months. He carried a small photo in his pocket. And he did not pull it out now. He kept his mind on the job. Lisa Morgan thought about the council delegates. How they laughed. How their eyes changed when they saw the battle records. She wanted them to see more than records. She wanted them to see humans fight. Ryan Brooks watched the jump timer count down. He was young, but he had trained hard. He knew every weak point on a Zorathian ship. Engines, sensors, command bridges. He had studied them like school books. Jacob Taylor kept his hands on the sensor controls. He liked patterns. He liked finding things others missed. He knew the Zorathians used the same tricks over and over. Big ships, slow turns, heavy front armor, weak sides. The jump ended with a soft flash. The stars snapped back into place. The fleet dropped out near the edge of the Orion sector. Ahead lay the nebula. Thick clouds of purple and gold gas, stars hidden inside, and somewhere in there, the battle raged. The scout ships sent back data right away. Enemy ships everywhere, hundreds, maybe more. Council forces held a thin line. Ships burned. Explosions lit the dark like short-lived suns. Henry Clark stood up. "Open fleet channel," he said. The comm officer nodded. "Channel open, sir." Henry spoke clear and calm. "This is Captain Clark. We are here. We see the fight. Hold your positions. We will come in from the flank. Use your speed. Use your brains. Hit them where they don't expect. We fight together now. For Earth. For the Council. For every world they want to take." He paused. "Let's remind them why humans never back down." Across the fleet, crews heard the words. Some smiled. Some gripped controls tighter. Fighters launched from carriers. Small lights darted out like fireflies. USS Liberty turned toward the nebula. The other 49 ships followed in tight formation. They moved fast. No wasted motion. No fear in their path. The Zorathians did not know yet. And their sensors saw only more Council ships at first. Small contacts. Nothing important. They kept pressing forward. They thought the line would break soon. They were wrong. Deep in the glowing clouds, the human fleet slipped closer, hidden by gas and dust. Ready to strike. The balance was about to shift. And it would start with 50 ships that no one believed in. The Orion Nebula looked like a giant storm caught in space. Purple and gold clouds swirled slowly. The bright stars burned inside them like distant fires. Lightning-like flashes came from plasma weapons. The battle had lasted for days. Council ships held a thin, defensive line. Zorathian dreadnoughts pushed forward without stopping. Black hulls soaked up light. Their guns never went quiet. A Krell battlecruiser named Iron Wall took heavy hits. Its shields flickered red. Chunks of armor flew off into the dark. The captain sent a last message. "We cannot hold much longer. I'll fall back if you can." Then the ship broke in two. A bright explosion lit the nebula for a second. More Council ships burned nearby. Fighters darted like insects between the giants. Some died fast. Others kept fighting until their fuel ran out. High above the main fight, a Zorathian commander watched from his flagship. His name was Varkas. He stood tall on a dark bridge. Red lights glowed on his scaled skin. He felt sure of victory. The Council line was cracking. In one more push, and the sector would fall. He gave orders in a low growl. "Increase speed, crush the center, no prisoners." His fleet obeyed. Hundreds of ships moved forward together. They formed a wide wall of black metal. Guns pointed ahead. Engines roared. Then something changed. At the edge of the nebula, hidden in thick gas clouds, the human fleet waited. 50 ships stayed silent. No running lights. No loud engines. They drifted like shadows. Sensors watched everything, every move, to every weak spot. Ensign Jacob Taylor sat at his station on USS Liberty. His fingers moved fast over the controls. Green screens showed enemy positions. "They are spreading thin on the left flank," he said. "Command ship is exposed. Engines are hot from long burn. They cannot turn quick." Captain Henry Clark listened. He stood with hands behind his back. "Good eyes, Jacob. Keep tracking." Commander Lisa Morgan checked weapon status. "Railguns charged. Missiles ready in all tubes. We can fire in patterns. Hit and move." Lieutenant Ryan Brooks pulled up the fleet map. "Council ships are pulling back to regroup. If we hit now, we can draw fire away from them." Henry Clark looked at the main screen. The nebula clouds parted for a moment. He saw the Zorathian wall advancing. Big ships in front, smaller ones guarding sides, but gaps appeared where ships moved too fast. He made his decision. "All ships, this is Liberty Actual. We go in now. Use the gas pockets for cover. Come out fast. Hit engines and sensors first. Do not stay in one place. Move like we trained. Break their rhythm." Across the fleet, captains repeated the order. Crews took deep breaths. Hands gripped controls. Hearts beat strong but steady. The human ships started moving. They slipped through the colorful clouds like fish in water. Thrusters fired in short bursts. No big flames, just quiet pushes. They stayed close to each other. A tight group that could spread or close fast. The first ships to break cover were the scouts, small and quick. They appeared on Zorathian sensors as tiny blips. The enemy ignored them at first, too small to matter. Then the scouts fired. Thin beams of blue light stabbed out. They hit sensor arrays on the nearest dreadnoughts. Sparks flew. Screens on Zorathian bridges went dark for seconds. Confusion spread. Varkas frowned. "What are those contacts? Destroy them." His gunners tried. Heavy plasma shots went wide. Burr spoke first. Long streaks of metal spoke first. Long streaks of metal flew straight. They punched through armor on a Zorathian cruiser. Explosions bloomed inside. The ship listed to one side. Other human ships followed. They did not attack head-on. They circled. They darted in from angles the enemy did not expect. And a group of 10 ships targeted engines on a big dreadnought. Missiles launched in waves, not all at once, short bursts, enough to overload shields. Then another burst. The engines glowed red. One failed. The big ship slowed. Council ships saw it happen. A Lyran frigate captain stared at his screen. "Humans," he whispered. "They are actually hurting them." Word spread fast across council channels. "New allies engaging. Repeat, new allies are in the fight." Some council captains felt new strength. But they stopped retreating. They turned to fire back. Not full attack, just enough to keep pressure. The human fleet kept moving. They never stayed still. When Zorathian guns turned toward them, they slipped behind asteroids or gas pockets. Then they came out somewhere else, always hitting weak points, always drawing attention away from the main council line. Jacob Taylor shouted from his station. "They are trying to regroup. Command ship is pulling back." "I ain't taking escorts with it." Henry Clark nodded. "That's our target. But not yet. We soften them first." Lisa Morgan smiled a little. "Shields at 80%. We can take more hits." Ryan Brooks sent new orders to the fleet. "Form Delta pattern. Split into 3 groups. Group 1 harasses left. Group 2 right. Group 3 with Liberty stays center. Keep them guessing." The ships obeyed. They broke into smaller packs. Each pack moved like a wolf team. Fast strikes. Quick retreats. Zorathian formation started to bend. Ships that were supposed to stay close drifted apart to chase the fast humans. Gaps grew bigger. A Zorathian destroyer tried to ram a human cruiser. The human ship rolled at the last second. It passed so close that paint scraped off. Then it fired point-blank into the enemy's side. The destroyer broke open. Fire poured out into space. Varkas slammed a fist on his chair. "These humans fight like insects. Swarming. Annoying. Focus fire on the large one." The one called Liberty. Guns turned toward USS Liberty. Plasma beams reached for her. Shields flared bright blue. The ship shook. Lights flickered on the bridge. "Direct hit," Lisa Morgan reported. "Shields at 60. Holding." Henry Clark stayed calm. "Keep moving. Do not give them a steady target." Liberty twisted. Thrusters pushed her sideways. She slipped behind a drifting wreck. Then came out firing again. Her railguns found another weak spot. A Zorathian frigate lost power. It drifted helpless. The battle changed slowly. The Zorathian advance slowed. Their perfect wall became messy. Ships bumped. Orders mixed up. Commanders shouted over open channels. Council forces felt the difference. They pushed forward a little. Not far. Just enough to hold ground. Fighters flew out to support the humans. Small council craft joined the dance. One human pilot flying a fast interceptor spoke over comms. "This is Hawk 3. Enemy cruiser engines down." Are of metal. But the humans kept going. They of metal. But the humans kept going. They did not tire. They did not stop. Jacob Taylor watched his screens. Enemy cohesion dropping. Formations breaking. They are losing control. Henry Clark looked at the main view. The Zorathian line bent like a bow under pressure. One more push and it would snap. He spoke quiet, but firm. "All ships, prepare for the next phase. We have them off balance. Now we hit hard. The human fleet tightened up again. They formed a spear shape, pointed straight at the heart of the enemy. The Zorathians saw it coming. Too late. The balance had started to shift, and the galaxy would never forget who caused it. The nebula clouds swirled thicker now. Bright flashes lit up pieces of broken ships. Metal pieces floated slowly like dead leaves. The Zorathian wall had cracks everywhere. Captain Henry Clark stood on the bridge of the USS Enterprise. He was the captain of the ship, and he was in charge of the mission to find the missing crew members. Captain Henry Clark stood on the bridge of USS Liberty. The deck shook from a close miss. Red warning lights blinked once and went out. Shields held. He watched the main screen. The big Zorathian command ship sat in the center of their line. It was long and black with sharp edges. Towers rose from its back like spines. Its bridge glowed red at the front. That was where Varkas commanded. That was the heart of the enemy fleet. Henry saw the chance. The command ship had taken a small hit earlier from a council cruiser. One engine pod smoked a little. It drifted just half a kilometer out of perfect formation. Not much, but enough. He turned to his officers. "There," he said, pointing at the screen. "That's our moment. If we take the head, the body falls apart." Commander Lisa Morgan looked at the damage reports. "Their shields are weaker on the starboard side. We can punch through if we hit together." Lieutenant Ryan Brooks nodded fast. "Fleet is still in good shape. We have fuel. Weapons hot. Council ships are holding their end now. They see what we're doing." Ensign Jacob Taylor kept his eyes on sensors. "Enemy escorts are spread thin. If we move quick, we can slip past most of them." Henry took one breath. The command ship. Group 1, draw fire the command ship. Group 1, draw fire from the left. Group 2, cover the right. Main force with me. We hit the bridge hard and fast. Do not stop. Do not slow. Full speed. Let's end this." Across the fleet, captains answered short. "Copy. Moving in. Ready." The human ships changed shape again. They stopped dancing. Now they formed a sharp arrow. A USS Liberty at the point. Cruisers and destroyers fanned out behind like wings. Scouts raced ahead to blind enemy sensors with quick bursts. They charged. Zorathian gunners saw the move. Alarms screamed on their ships. Varkas leaned forward in his chair. His yellow eyes narrowed. "They dare attack me? All batteries, target the lead human ship. Burn it." Heavy plasma cannons turned. Beams of green fire reached out. The space between the fleets filled with light. USS Liberty took hits, and shields flared bright white, then blue. The ship rocked hard. Crew held onto rails. Lights dimmed for a second. "Shields at 40%, Lisa Morgan called. "Rerouting power. We can take 2 more salvos." Henry did not flinch. "Keep going. Full thrust." Liberty pushed forward. Thrusters burned bright. The arrow formation stayed tight. Other human ships took fire too. A scout exploded in a quick flash. Its pilot never had time to eject. A cruiser lost an engine but kept firing. They closed the gap fast. When they were close enough, Henry gave the next order. "Fire pattern Alpha. All weapons on the bridge. Now!" Every human ship opened up. Rail guns roared. Long metal rods shot out faster than sound. They hit the command ship's forward shields. Sparks flew like fireworks. Missiles followed in waves. Not one big volley. Short, sharp bursts, enough to overload section by section. The command ship's shields cracked. A section went dark, then another. The Zorathian bridge lights flickered. Some went high, some low. They poured fire into the weak spots. On the Zorathian bridge, lights flickered. Consoles sparked. Varkas shouted orders. "Evasive! Protect the core!" But it was too late. His ship could not turn fast with damaged engines. A group of human fighters slipped through the chaos. They flew straight at the bridge tower. Point defense guns tried to stop them. Most missed. The fighters released their last missiles. Small explosions bloomed along the tower base. Then Liberty herself closed in. She was close now. So close the crew could see details on the enemy hull, scars from old battles, black paint peeling, gun ports smoking. Henry gave the final command. "All batteries, continuous fire. Target the command deck. End it." Railguns spoke again. Beams stabbed deep. Explosions rippled under the armor. A big blast came from inside. The bridge tower buckled. Red light poured out like blood. The command ship listed hard to one side. Engines coughed and died. Secondary explosions followed. Fire spread through open sections. Varkus's last transmission came over open channels. A short growl of rage, then silence. The command ship broke apart. The front half spun away. The back half drifted dead. Debris flew in every direction. The Zorathian fleet froze for a moment. Then panic hit. Without orders, ships turned in circles. Some fired at nothing. Others tried to run. Formations collapsed completely. The wide wall became a mess of single ships. Council forces saw it happen. Their captains shouted new orders. "Push forward! The enemy is breaking!" Krell cruisers advanced. Lyran fighters swarmed. Vexari support ships sent repair drones to damaged allies. The human fleet did not stop. They kept hitting. They chased running ships. They protected council vessels that were low on power. They moved like a single mind. Jacob Taylor watched his screens. Enemy retreat confirmed. They are pulling out of the sector. Full withdrawal. Lisa Morgan let out a long breath. "Shields at 10%. We're still here." Ryan Brooks smiled for the first time. "We did it." Henry Clark looked at the main screen. Pieces of the command ship floated past. The nebula grew quieter. Flashes became fewer. The battle was ending. He opened the fleet channel one more time. "All ships, this is Liberty Actual. Stand down from attack." A formed defensive screen around Council forces. "Well done, every one of you." Cheers came over comms. Not loud, not wild, just tired, happy sounds. Crews hugged, some wiped tears. Others just sat and stared at the stars. A Council admiral sent a message. His voice sounded different now. Not doubtful, not laughing, respectful. "Human fleet, this is High Command. We see what you have done. The line holds because of you. Thank you." Henry answered simple. "We fight together now. That's all." The nebula clouds drifted on. Stars shone through again. The Zorathians fled into the dark. Their advance stopped. Their plan broken. One fleet, 50 ships. They had turned the tide. The battle was over. But the war had just changed forever. The Orion Nebula grew calm again. The colorful clouds drifted slow. No more bright explosions. No more screams over open channels. Only quiet. Broken ships floated like ghosts. Small repair drones moved between them. Fast in space. Council relay stations fast in space. Council relay stations picked up the battle logs. They sent them straight to Elysium. Within hours, the Great Hall filled once more. Delegates came back in a hurry. Some still wore sleeping clothes under their robes. Others ran from their quarters. The twin moons outside shone bright. But inside the hall, the lights felt brighter than ever. High Delegate Korvath stood on the raised platform. He looked older now. His gray plates seemed heavier. The hologram in the center showed new data. It replayed key moments of the fight. Human ships darting through gas clouds, precise shots hitting weak points, the final charge on the command ship, the bright explosion when it broke apart. Every delegate watched in silence. When the replay ended, no one laughed. No one whispered jokes. We saw small ships. We heard bold words. Now we see proof. The Zorathians ran. They have not run in years. A Lyran delegate jumped up next. She moved quick like always. "Our scouts confirm it. Enemy forces withdraw from 3 sectors. Supply lines open again. Food ships move. Fuel arrives. The front holds." Korvath raised his heavy hand. "The vote to accept human help was close. Many doubted. I doubted. Now I say this, 1 fleet, 50 ships. They did what thousands could not. They shifted the war. More voices rose. Some thanked the humans. Some asked questions. How did they move so fast? How did they find weak spots so quick? What weapons did they use? The council wanted to know everything. Admiral Paul Edwards and his officers arrived soon after. They walked in through the same doors as before. This time, no laughter followed. The heads turned. Eyes followed them. Delegates made room as they passed. Paul Edwards stepped onto the platform. Henry Clark, Lisa Morgan, Ryan Brooks, and Jacob Taylor stood behind him. They looked tired, faces marked with sweat and small burns from close calls. Uniforms had tears and dark stains, but they stood straight. Paul Edwards spoke first. His voice stayed calm. The battle is won for now. The Zorathians retreat. They will regroup. They will come back. But today, we bought time. I knew the risk. Every crew member chose to know the risk. Every crew member chose to come. They fought for more than Earth. They fought for every world in this room. A Krell commander stood. His voice was deep. Your tactics surprised us. You did not fight like us. You did not form big lines. You moved like hunters. You struck and left. We learn from that now. Lisa Morgan stepped forward. We train to think fast, to adapt. Humans have always done that. On our world, we faced hard times, floods, wars, cold winters. We learned to change plans when things went wrong. That helped here. Ryan Brooks added, our sensors see more than metal. They see heat, movement, weak signals. We use that to find openings others miss. Jacob Taylor smiled a little. And we never stop looking. Even when it looks bad. The delegates listened close. Oh, again. The Council offers full alliance again. The Council offers full alliance, not just words, real partnership. Your fleet will have repair yards, fuel, new weapons if you share designs. We ask you to stay, to teach us, to fight beside us until the Zorathians are beaten. Paul Edwards looked at his officers. They gave small nods. He turned back to the hall. We accept. Earth stands with you. Not for glory, not for power, for what is right. No world should fall to cruelty. No people should live in fear. Cheers rose then, not loud at first, then stronger. Vexari clapped long fingers. Lirans made high chirps. Krell thumped chests with fists. Even the quiet ones joined in. After the meeting, the humans walked outside under the twin moons. The air felt cool. Stars filled the sky like scattered lights. Henry Clark looked up. We did it, he said quiet. Lisa Morgan nodded. And more than that, we changed how they see us. No more newcomers. No more jokes. Ryan Brooks laughed, soft. They want our training manuals now. Imagine that. Jacob Taylor stared at the stars. Think how many eyes are watching us tonight, on Earth, on other worlds. They know humans can fight, really fight. Paul Edwards put a hand on Henry's shoulder. This is just the start. The war goes on. But the balance is different now, because of one fleet. Back on USS Liberty, crews rested. And some slept in bunks. Others sat in the mess hall with warm drinks. They shared stories. They remembered friends who did not come back. They laughed about close calls. They felt proud. Daniel Hayes sat with Maria Lopez and Kevin Patel. They looked at a small screen showing news from Earth. People cheered in streets. Flags waved. Children held signs that said, "Thank you, heroes." Daniel smiled. They don't even know our names, but they know we helped. Maria raised her cup. To the fleet. To the ones who stayed home waiting. To everyone who believed. They touched cups. Quiet toast. In the days that followed, the galaxy changed. Zorathian attacks slowed. Council fleets grew stronger. Human ships patrolled new routes. Their sleek designs appeared in every sector. Other species sent officers to learn from them. Joint training started. New tactics spread. The council hall on Elysium had a new hologram now, not just war maps. A small model of USS Liberty sat in the center, and it turned slow under soft light. A reminder. One human fleet had shifted the balance. 50 ships, one decision, one fight, and the stars would never be the same.